Yeah, we're live.
We're live. We
Yeah.
are? Are we? Oh my God. Hi, guys. Sorry, we're a little bit late. Welcome to News and Nonsense. I'm a queer Jampy, otherwise known as Auntie AK, otherwise known as the auntie of all aunties. And to my left,
I am Nana, aka the Black Fairy, aka Dark and Lovely.
hi, guys. This is News and Nonsense. And as you know, as I say each week, because the world is literally going to shit, we thought we'd bring you the news our way. We'll dig through all the news and nonsense out there and give you our take on it, help you learn what's going on. We're here to help you separate the wheat from the chaff, the sap from the crap, what you need to know from what you don't need to know. So
Yes.
that's that.
Yes.
Nana, what do they need to do whilst they're learning all this news and nonsense?
Please, guys, you just need to come in on entrance, boop the like button as you come in. And also, you can sign up to our YouTube membership as well. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. It's just $1.99 that will give you an extra episode from the aunties every single week. And
Yes.
now that Farah is back, we are going to start doing membership lives where you can tell us what you want from us. We can solve your problems. We can talk
Yeah.
about the world. It will just be a good old family chit chat. Like, you know, when the family all gets together in the kitchen and you
Yeah.
just chat. That's what we're going to be doing in our membership
Long chatting, long chatting. So yes, my loves, make sure you sign up. Make sure you did you say book the like button?
the like button. Yes.
Book the like button, and get involved in the comments, guys. Like you have been doing. I love it. I'm getting used to this live. I love interacting with you guys. It's so good. So get involved in the discussion. Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you want us to get into as well as you do at the end. We're only doing an hour, guys, so don't try it. Don't try and keep us here all night. It's a Sunday night. We have work tomorrow, so we're doing an hour.
Yeah,
Um,
we can't be here too long. And we started late because I have a habit of leaving my keys at home. I don't know why. I always just presume somebody's going to be home. And this time they weren't. So I had to wait outside like a little hobo
good.
and wait until the family came back in so that I could get in to do the thumbnail and for us to go live.
No,
So,
I don't. I unequivocally am so mad at you for this. But that's another. That's a your aunties could never main show dilemma that we need to resolve and get to the bottom of. All
yeah.
right, let's go. Let's get into it. So our first story that we didn't get to the other day was Matthew Perry. Those of you who are absolute Friends fans,
Yes.
I was back in the day. I must say, I got over it, but I was a super Friends fan. Rest in peace, Matthew Perry, who played Chandler Bing. He passed away from a ketamine overdose, but it's been revealed that it wasn't just any old overdose. A whole lot of nonsense has been happening behind the scenes. 5 individuals have been charged in connection with the ketamine related death of Matthew Perry, including 2 doctors and Perry's assistant. They are accused of exploiting Perry's addiction for financial gain, leading to his death from acute ketamine effects. His family have expressed heartbreak, but gratitude for the seriousness which law enforcement have taken this on. Apparently, it's been said that these defendants took advantage of Mr. Perry's addiction. One doctor allegedly said, "I wonder how much this moron will pay." Perry's assistant admitted to repeatedly injecting Perry with ketamine. The ketamine was sold to Perry for $2,000 a vial, where it cost the doctors only $12. So this is wild, and I think one of the people involved she's been nicknamed the ketamine queen. And the reason why they found out all of this information was because when there's like a death or a wrongful death, especially with celebrities, the law takes extra goes into the case even more. They do even more research and investigation, and they found like text messages, phone records, and they managed to piece together the story to find that this wasn't a normal situation. There's something going on that was a bit dodgy, and this is what's happened. So yeah,
That's crazy though. Like, I'm glad that they looked into it properly
yeah,
because how many more celebs have been food for people? I
yeah,
still don't believe Prince. Like, we know that Michael Jackson was basically just touted out there and they were again abusing his habits as well.
yeah,
I it makes more sense now because the way how his friends were like, he was really trying to get clean, like
yeah.
really was wholeheartedly trying to get clean. And so people were so shocked that he would be able to have so much ketamine in his system to die from it as well.
Exactly.
Like, wow,
And I think the ketamine queen, I need to get her name. She's the one who gave him that final, the
the
fatal,
final bit.
the fatal dose of a fatal amount. And yeah, because I think he had therapy, and his doctor was like, "That's fine." His therapist said everything was fine. So it was random that he would then but then he obviously took the drug and then got into the I think the outside pool or something, and that's where he drowned. So it wasn't like he intended, because I thought maybe it was an overdose, like maybe an intentional overdose, but it wasn't. It was an accident, actually, at the end of the day. So it's definitely really out of order that that these celebrities are exploited at their weakest, and it's very difficult, because I suppose we can say, where was the family, where's the people around him, but it's so difficult. And if you know anyone who's had addiction, it's so difficult you can't monitor them around the clock, and especially if they're independent people who also are like, I'm on the road back to recovery, I'm finding myself, I'm doing better, so you trust them. But it's like, how do you, and then if you don't trust them, that's not giving them their independence, and it's like there's nothing you can do.
They're living their life though, he's a grown man.
Exactly.
So you can't do anything really to stop it. That's the same with like Amy Winehouse as well. It's that same thing. You can't stop them, and all your hope is that the people around them care. And loads of them just use their addiction as food. It's literally like, if I can keep being around them, giving them what they're after, I get loads of money from them.
Absolutely.
The inflation that they were charging him for the ketamine to get that, wild. It's crazy. Like, and then you've killed him. So your cash cow is now dead.
Yeah. And that's it. And it's like the wickedness and the greed. And how do you're dealing with a human being. Like, how much money are you really going to get? Bar getting them to sign their deeds over to you, like, and their inheritance to you. Like, how much money are you going to get? Like, for that quick fix? I mean, to be fair, maybe they're all, addicts in their own way and trying to sort out whatever nonsense is going in their world, but it still doesn't justify it. But it's like, how? It's a problem. I don't know how you solve it, because I mean, Whitney Houston, it's seemingly kept alive and kept on crack and drugs just so that she can, but you can see she's, especially Whitney's, watching her deteriorate in front of our eyes, similarly to Amy Winehouse, was so heartbreaking.
Oh, man.
But anyway,
Amy, so as Yvonne White had just said, like, I was heartbroken when Amy Winehouse died. Similarly, we have friends in common, and I'm friends with two of her best friends, and the amount that they actually tried to help her, and it's just, you can't help an addict when they're in it, but she actually really was trying to get clean, because her health had deteriorated so much. The doctors were like, you actually don't have the bodily function to even carry on with your drinking and the drug habits. It's like the drinking was actually really fundamental to her. And then also she had bulimia, so she wasn't eating well. When she would eat, she would throw up. It's like she was so frail in lots of different ways, and she was thriving in St. Lucia, doing really, really well. She was there for months. She flew out quite a few of her friends. Two of my friends went, and they spent ages there with her. She was drug-free, getting healthy, and it's at that point that the record company was like, okay, you're probably good enough to go back out there again. Sometimes you just need to just let people chill. But because you are the ones that's making a lot of people money, it's like, and then you feel obligated. There are people's families depending on me working so that they make money.
Yeah.
But when you're not healthy, you're not ready.
And that's it. And we've spoken before about the record label's complicitness in the downfall of so many artists in various different ways. If it's not drugs, it's their turning a blind eye to their criminal activities, turning a blind eye to their illegal, indecent age attraction to things, and all that type of stuff, just because you want to keep them going. And there should be a lot more care and duty applied. And I think it does slow down the process, but to what extent? You get a better client. There are so many artists on this earth that you don't have to put all the investment into one person. Give the person time to breathe. And if they're struggling, go and come back.
Exactly.
Give them time.
It's very, very sad. So we move on to an update on the King's College. If you guys were with us on Friday, we discussed this. So the lady is called, what I sent you, AK, I sent you the GoFundMe page that she's actually set up. She's given a full rounded update on it there. If you could read it out, because it's very
Where
long.
was it? Where did you send it to me?
I sent it to you on WhatsApp.
Oh, okay. All right.
We've done
So,
a full-on update there.
all right. So on the GoFund. Oh, why is my link not opening?
And
Okay.
I will put the link in the chat as well if anybody does want to donate to her GoFundMe.
So again, as Nana said, this is about the young lady who's had her newborn taken away from her at King's College. So the message reads, "Good day, everybody. Thanks for taking time to read this. I understand how precious your time can be. I have an urgent matter at hand, and it's regarding my newborn offspring. My newborn, born on the 11th of August 2024, was kidnapped from me 24 hours under police protection before an interim care order court hearing was scheduled for. And at the time of removal, I was inappropriately half naked in bed with my baby, and I was totally unaware that this was going to happen. Apparently, so was the social worker, as plan was not to separate me and baby, but actually keep us together. However, after being told by the lawyer the following day at court that the police police powers to act on information received from the hospital, whether it be true or false, which in this case it was false and twisted information / allegations against me. For example, not allowing my baby to be observed whilst in hospital, urinating and defecating on the floor. However, upon removal, it was stated that the reason was because of a heat rash and co-sleeping. My progeny was only 3 days old when they kidnapped her, a healthy, breastfed, contented baby. They discharged me straight away, didn't give me enough time to get ready and pack my belongings, handed me my discharge summary, which was unsigned, no midwife signature, and where it said, has mother been discharged with baby, yes or no, it was left blank and unanswered, which means nobody wants to take responsibility for this unlawful kidnapping. After stating and reassuring me that I would be able to breastfeed my newborn progeny once they remove her via contact arrangements through social worker, after visiting her for an hour and a half on Friday the 16th of 2024, I was told that the hospital said that I could not breastfeed her until some test results came back. So now this means my milk is slowly stopping because there's no contact with her over the weekend, and there's a new social worker, which means the transition taking place means I don't know when I'm next seeing my newborn progeny. I currently don't have a date of when I am next seeing her, but for some reason I haven't had a date for the next court hearing, which is on the 16th of September. So now my baby remains in foster care. Since the removal, I have had issues with my phone, which limits me, and I've also spent a lot of money taking taxis because of my anxiety, and also, of course, the pains / ongoing healing after birth. And sometimes I have not been able to cook because things have been moving so quickly, so fast. I have to order a takeaway, which means my money I just went so quickly than usual. And during this time, I need to be looking after my health and well-being and making sure that I can get to appointments and aftercare midwifery appointments and court without having any real issues relating to finances due to the constant demand of me, even though I've just given birth, now 6 days ago. I also have 49 stairs to climb at my property with no lift, which leaves me in a lot of pain after birth. But by the grace of God, I am still here, alive and well. Please help me fight for my progeny because we are both innocent. This is not to do with my history, but they have used part of my history, which occurred over 6 years ago, to carry out this nasty act and agenda, leading into an unlawful kidnapping of my newborn offspring, which I believe is for their own selfish gains. Please donate anything you can to help me in this very difficult and challenging time, to limit my state of being overwhelmed as I summon to court 3 days after giving birth, which is inhumane. I'm also in the process of rearranging my newborn bedroom, and so I will appreciate all the help that you're able to offer. Thanks so much for reading. Peace, love, and light. And that's the message from Amir Angel Storm.
So I don't know. That's the baby's name. That's what she has now. The baby. I think she's been able to do the registration. Her actual name, I will find it now on Instagram if anybody wants to see, is Vanessa Brown. Vanessa spelt with an E, so it's VENESSA. Vanessa Brown. That's what she is on Instagram. It's quite crazy, as you like, she's updated a little bit. She has been able to spend a little bit more time with the baby now, but this has since been set up because she was able to breastfeed her for a bit, have contacts, but now they've switched over to another social worker. That's where the flux is. And obviously the hospital are still maintaining that she is a danger to staff. So now the baby is in foster care. It is totally over to social services. So she needs a proper social worker, her caseworker, to then start redoing contact. Beth O went live again today for about 3 hours. I was listening for maybe the last hour that she was live. I listened to 2 other women talk about going through exactly the same thing.
Black women.
Exactly the same. Yes. Yeah. Both of them had managed to get their kids back, but
But after how
they
long?
were very educated as well. One just happened to be quite young, but she still had her wits about her. She was 17, and this happened 2 years ago. Another woman, it was her son's child, so her grandson, and because they were young, she had to step in and fight because she was saying that they were basically just gaslighting the kids, like constantly trying to rile them up so that they would be able to write down that they are unfit. So there's definitely something going on. And people were so passionate about the naysayers that this can't happen and there are procedures and they are going through step by step. The lies that are written down and involving the police, sometimes over the social worker's head, similar to this, or social workers doing it and being like, the police need to come in because they have the power. As soon as it goes to the police, it seems like it's easier to remove the child.
With the child, yeah.
Foster care. Yeah.
I don't, again, like the other day, I'm speechless because what the hell? All we can do is keep an eye on cases like this, talk about cases like this, and just share it around and make sure people are talking. And so that the more it's shared and the more people are speaking about it, and the fact there are people in the comments, women in the comments saying, this happened to me, this happened to me. The more you talk about it and more people see a pattern, it has to be investigated. What we don't have over here, which is so annoying, possible. We don't have an Al Sharpton, we don't have a Tony Crump, we don't have that black leader that takes on cases in a way that makes it so visible and so difficult for these things to happen repeatedly without people knowing. I mean, all we've got are platforms like ourselves and others and Beth O who are speaking about it. But then where's the power? Where's the person that can do it on a day-to-day basis and investigate and hold these people to task? Because like Tony Crump doesn't let up. He's like our new Johnny Cochran. Like he does not let up. He is on every black case and every black agenda. He makes sure, like Tony Crump's the guy that got Chauvin convicted in the George Floyd murder, and he's done so much more. And there's actually a documentary about him on Netflix. And we don't have that type of community leader that does that,
or a lawyer,
or a lawyer.
A lawyer that this is the lawyer to go to put it in front of them for them to either like draft up a statement, be like, okay, so we need to rally back, like that type of thing. We absolutely do not have that person of authority who could look into the case really quickly and be on her side. Like people are saying, you need to get a solicitor. You need to get a solicitor. Who is it that we would then be tagging to be like, all over this case?
There is a Black Lawyer Society. I swear, because I know when I used to produce for Dr. Adebayo at BBC Radio London, there is a community of black lawyers. There is actually a community of black lawyers. I'm going to, I've got to remember to put this in a group that I'm in of black women that kind of are well connected. I'm going to see if they know, because I swear there's a UK Black Society of Lawyers, but we need to have more. America does well in that.
Or a name that,
that takes this on.
This is who we should all be tagging to be like, please, this case. I would love that to happen. And Beth O was asking for a similar thing, but also Beth's story. Now her daughter is prepared to come out and talk. So she was on the live talking about their case. I did send her a note asking, like, it would be great to speak to you on the Aunties if you would come on. Because there's so much to her story. And again, because their family is educated, she managed to get her kids back. But how she was set up, it sounds crazy, to the point where the judge that was doing it all had to retire. So this is a thing.
And where's the news story on that?
Exactly. Where is the press that this took place? And if the family wasn't filming, I remember watching it when the kids were getting taken.
I remember that.
It was all filmed. If they didn't film it, any of that type of stuff and how it was done, they may not have those kids. They may be in care or put up for adoption. And again, she had a newborn baby. So it was, I think it's 3 children in total that they took, but the others were older and it was a newborn baby. So there's something in this newborn baby stage that they're after. They're trying to get the babies. We definitely have to look into this.
Talk about it all the time. We have to keep talking about it. This is an update that needs to go on, be ongoing. This is our American cousins do very well in community leadership. We are not like that over here. I think it was maybe something of the 60s and like the early times when the community, it was easier to gather. I don't know, imagine you've got more information and more connection, but back then there was less resources. There was more of a community feel where they stood up for each other a lot more. We don't do that over here.
Is it a spread in the UK or just London? They were from all over, actually, the people that were talking. One woman was in Birmingham, another woman, she Portsmouth. So it seems to be borough wide. Yeah, there's something going on. There was also another really interesting part that she spoke about was the court systems. So with family courts, they're closed. So they say that they're doing this to protect the child. So it doesn't become public records.
Yeah.
And that's something that needs to be changed. And each one of them said that, like, because it's not public record, it can kind of go on behind closed doors. And unless you're using social media or you have a lawyer that is really like, I'm going to fight this injustice for you, lots of people won't know about it. And then there's an element of shame, because most people think if social services are in your life, you have
done something wrong. Yeah.
It's for a reason. So one woman, she was like, I think maybe this happened 4 years ago to her similarly, or she was being threatened with her child being taken continuously. And she never spoke about it to anyone. So only a few of her friends know. And she has not spoken about it because she was just like, I felt so ashamed. Like nobody is going to believe that, no, literally I gave birth and they targeted me. I had done nothing wrong. What she didn't want to do was immunize her kids. That was her story. She didn't want to immunize her kids. And then she was hounded for ages with social services like she is a shit parent because she didn't want to go through the immunization steps. And they kept on threatening, we're going to take your kids. So it's
wild. Yeah, because it's like, and then they take set on people because when it was a HPV thing that they were like kind of really forcing on young girls when they introduced HPV, not vaccine, inoculation. And I was like, no, for hell no, you're not taking this vaccination, my child. You're not doing it. I'm not letting you. And the way that they issued that, but luckily I wasn't threatened with anything. And, you know, I can't remember what age she was, but she was in her teens and she was in high school. But the way they tried to
like 13, 14.
Yeah, they bypassed me. Like, say they gave the daughter, your child, your daughter, the authority to make a decision because they so wanted them to be. Because they said you can do it. You don't have to have your mum's consent, your parents' consent. Because they so wanted to force it. So I was like, I said, the fact that you're saying that makes me even more so not have it. But luckily, I wasn't threatened with her being taken away. But if we had any kind of social services interaction, who knows what could have happened?
Yes. Yvonne was saying, I had a conversation with a friend yesterday and they were telling her she had to immunize her daughter. It's actually, it is crazy, like listening to the women one after the other. And that was a huge thing, was immunization. That being a thing. The co-sleeping as well in hospital, that seems to set off some alarm bells, although it's not illegal to co-sleep. So it's like it seems to trigger some nurses when you're in hospital to co-sleep. Some are like, co-sleep with your child. Others are like, you absolutely cannot do this.
But this is a thing about rules and practices, because like everything, things change. Yeah. So like, where's like, eat red meat, don't eat red meat. Breastfeed, don't, after, you know, when to breastfeed, when not to breastfeed. Baby milk's best, breast milk's best. And then like co-sleeping, not co-sleeping. Don't bath them after this. There's so many changing rules from hospital to hospital, culture to culture. So one teacher comes in, one nurse comes in, one social worker comes in and says this, and then you're told so much misinformation. But from when it's legal, you have to go, okay, at the very least, go by what's legal and what's not legal. And co-sleeping is like, everybody's different. I mean, and I guess, look, if there was an epidemic of babies being crushed in their sleep because of co-sleeping, let's have a conversation. But it's not. Yeah. How many babies really? Like, and let's weigh up all the things that can happen, because babies could be fast when they get to the moving stage, when they fall off the bed, all those type of things. What are the stats? Because it's just this blanket kind of assumption that you're going to crush your baby. It's not so.
It is very scary that even like just going through her story and watching it and what the nurse said, it is like, how do we get to, we need to remove this child?
Yes, I don't
That's the thing.
understand.
It's like, how do we get there? And the police standing there, literally being like, we are going to take the child. So if anybody wants to see from the other angle of the video, she does turn around and you can see the people. The nurse has been named as well. I won't name her here, but her name is out there. There are lots of speculations about this nurse, that this is something that she does. She has,
Really?
well, yeah. I really hope a national newspaper does get on
This
this
is,
story.
where's the voice? Maybe we need to get this. The voice not heard of this?
They must have done. The Voice must have done. But again, it's like what we discussed. When has The Voice been doing real investigative journalism? Like, we kind of need that from the Black perspective, because this is crazy. And the court systems being closed so that we're not even hearing about this is another factor
I
of
wonder if
why it can go on.
I wonder if Sister Space know about this as well. I mean, I know it's a different thing, but it's just like, what do we have out there? I guess we just have to
That's
drop
the
things
thing. There's something in maternal care. We know women's health in general, that it's so underfunded and just not taken serious. But we do need some type of maternal care body where you can go to really be like, look, they're not just killing us, they're taking babies as well. Like, there's something going on, and we don't need this to happen for another 10 years.
No.
And then have the report come out like in the 1940s, where they literally was taking people's children all the time. Like, we don't need that to take place. But they're doing some shit.
That's a good idea. Sorry, Yvonne White said contact Antoine Allen. Yeah, we can send this story. I can DM Charlene White, Antoine Allen, send it to Sisters, but just send the GoFund and then the link to. Guys, do your thing as well. Like, wherever, if you see it, and if more of us send it, so they're like, okay, it'll take notice. If it's just one of us, maybe all of us. If you find the link, just send the link to these places. Just DM them. If you're on X or /Twitter, tweet them, and just that's actually what we need to do. Galvanize ourselves, because sometimes all of us talking about it, and the more regular people, because it's like everybody's talking about it.
Yes, yeah. No, that's true. That's true, definitely. I think I wouldn't have seen it if it wasn't for Beth O highlighting it.
Yeah.
So it only takes one platform to be like, look, I'm not gonna let this go. And every day she has been back giving updates and just being like, listen, this happened to me and my family. I know it can happen to anybody. And they're just very lucky, because the people that were doing it were really shoddy. So in lots of different ways, that's why I really want her to come on the show, to actually go through all of the stages of how they had to catch them out on stuff, and to the point where they got a really good judge that was like, I can't believe this is all being taking place.
Yeah.
But how many people are just like, they don't even have the wherewithal to do that, and they may have lost their child, and again, they're shamed, so you're not even going to talk, you may not talk about it. It's actually kind of crazy. It's wild to think.
It is horrible to think. So guys, let's do our job and share. And this is news. This is big news. Let's make this big news. Because they're trying to make it out like it's nonsense, and it's not. It's huge, huge news. All right, moving on. Where should we go? Let's go a little bit upbeat for a second. Ooh. Or strange for a second. So I go, let me go here. Strange. So a woman was jailed for stealing $1.9 million worth of chicken wings.
I heard this.
Now, Vera Little, this is an American story, guys. Vera Little, a former food director for a school district in Illinois, was involved in a criminal scheme where she allegedly ordered a large quantity of chicken wings through the school district's food supplier and kept them for herself. So over time, the value...
Okay, because this is what I didn't know. I have been so intrigued to hear. What did she do with the chicken?
We haven't got that answer. She just kept them for herself. Over time, the value of the stolen wings amounted to $1.5 million. Little was charged with theft and operating criminal enterprise due to her actions. However, she was sentenced to 9 years in prison. The case court attracted attention because of the significant amount involved and the unusual nature of theft. Lots of people have been talking about it, making jokes, but also Kansas City Chiefs star, NFL star Chris Jones has offered to pay the $1.5 million worth of stolen chicken wings back. That led to the sentencing. because he's like, he wants to try and get her free. Because underlying, if you see, I think I've got a picture of her. If you see her, she just looks like an auntie. Like, what happened, auntie? Like, auntie, I'm just so like, I don't even want to, I slightly don't want to laugh because it's so sensational. But what's going on, auntie?
I mean, it's just big fraud. She must have been. I mean, there's always that kind of meat dealer
Yeah.
that
So
you
maybe
buy
she's
meat from. So I imagine she had turned into a meat
a
dealer.
meat dealer.
Yeah.
Because how much chicken wings? 1.9. I mean, I know chicken wings are expensive, but if you get them from, so she was just siphoning them off. I mean, I don't know, auntie.
People do this shit with their work quite often, though. I mean, it's a lot to have been able to have got away with, but that's the thing because it was the pandemic, wasn't it? It's like, so there was lack of contact, so and it was somebody that was just going through the receipts, kind of afterwards, and was seeing.
Maybe a bit by bit for herself. Maybe she, well, you know, she works
so
in
she's doing big orders. Some was going out, but she's keeping the majority.
Yeah.
Isn't it their accounting fault? I'm not making excuses. She was stealing, but somebody else is responsible for this because they weren't doing their accounting
they
right.
weren't doing a double check.
No.
And also, not 9 years though.
You think that's too long?
9 years was. Do you know what it is? You know, okay. Do you know what it is? You're right. She stole. Auntie stole, and she could be a real.
It's not £10,000 worth.
It's
million.
It's millions. So she's been doing this, and we need to. Because I think, well, hopefully, I'll be. You'll be able to hear the court case and know what's going on and get. Well, once it starts going to court and the trial happens, we're gonna. I know she's been sentenced. So I need to find the court trial and see what was revealed. No one has that much information. I don't know if you guys have heard the story, anything more about like what she did with it, why she did it. Because I don't know. It just seems like no one understands what's happened.
Like how she got away with all of this.
If she was a neighborhood, like, I live in the hood and I'm gonna, sell the chicken to my neighbors. At least she's a bit of a Robin Hood.
No, that was probably funding a lot of people's businesses. Yeah. And she was like a constant supplier of good chicken wings, like, that was probably helping people.
Storytime with B says, how do they know it's $1 million and how did they come to that conclusion?
It was the receipt. So I read that at some point it was like a clerk was actually going through all of the receipts that was coming through from her institution and was like, this isn't adding up. And then once they did the proper accounting for what goes out to the district in dinner, it was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, the district doesn't need this amount of chicken to feed everybody anyway. So to me, that is like you were being negligent and she was just taking advantage of it, I guess.
That's what, listen, Victoria Thomas says, invisibility of Black women in the workplace. They paid her no mind. She did her thing. But when it hit $1 million, she was retailing. She was retailing it black market cheaper. I mean, it's facts. This is what happens when you underestimate and overlook and ignore the Black woman at work. This is what happens. Pay attention, guys.
She was doing her thing. Like, but yes, I think who was it that said it? Sure. She got the time according to the amount of dollars. Yeah. It's a lot of money that I would expect if it was over here though, because fraud is crazy over here. She may have only have got like 4 years or something. But yeah, it's fair.
How old is she? I don't think it says. Let me see.
Well, she like 75 or something. I remember.
No, that's old.
I thought she was. I was like, raw.
She's 68.
See,
coming out when you're like, what's 50?
So, would she do that long at that age? Maybe she would.
77 or 78 or whatever the case. But come on.
Exactly, Tabby J. She said, I'm going to make money by any means necessary. Come on, man. It's the end of that. She may as well set up the family, do a little bit of retirement.
And maybe I wonder, I'm here saying, oh, poor auntie, she could be a witch. She could be a real. Those of you who know, those of you know, Prisoner Cell Block H. Was it B? Yeah, B. The big boss. Yeah, man. So she could be. She got 6. She got 9 years. Dammy J.
Think about Sean Kingston and his mum.
Yeah,
and the fraud that they were doing. And that
they
was
did.
two of them. Like literally his mum was complicit in this as well. People
Yeah,
have been stealing, man.
people be stealing.
And they're probably gonna do a few years.
Guys, don't incriminate yourself, but do. Who's? I can't even ask this. This is a ridiculous question. Who's stolen from work? It could be an old job. Like a few post-it notes sprawl in your bag.
I mean, you like this is it, stationary, yeah.
Stationery. It's always a bit of stationery.
Now, if you're in control of ordering the stationery and actually nobody really checks how much I'm ordering, you may order a little bit more and do a little side hustle. I just think she took her side hustle too far.
Too far. And that's the thing. What is it about people that always take it too far? Take 10 chicken wings. No, I have to take the whole box.
1,000.
1,000 a time. Come on, man.
But nobody was looking. But I feel other people are to blame for this.
Who? It's Auntie
the clerk. Remember, clerically should have been checking the receipts from her. Like, nah.
No, man. She's probably never
too far. Too far.
Is it Miss Harding? Oh, Miss Harding.
Espresso capsule.
A whole box. Don't lie.
I think so, Chef 13. That absolutely makes sense.
What happened?
I think she didn't pay the one that was helping her and they snitched.
Imagine.
Something in the chain broke. Definitely. Because, yeah, it probably was.
I mean, something you just got greedy and they found out like you must have maybe a chicken wing dropped out of her bag on the way home.
She was being greedy for like 3 years. She'd been stealing for a while. Something in the chain went, or maybe that person lost their job. And then somebody else came in who was actually doing their job and started to look at what's going on. But also, okay, the district, they're to blame as well. Yeah. How did you have a 1 million overspend on chicken and you didn't know?
Listen, because the district, allegedly, districts and boroughs over here and councils over here, they be siphoning. Everyone's on it. And that's the thing. I know it's not fair, black people. I know it's not fair. But we can't do what our counterparts do. We just can't. And if we're going to do it, we have to do it under the radar, like low. We only can take a little bit. We can't do it like that. If you're going to work for the system, you can't be the one because you'll be scapegoated and you'll do the time. Like, what's it, Mr. Man, who did the city fraud? There was a bunch of them doing it. The Ghanaian boys. Now he's in Ghana. Gone.
Yeah, the one that got deported.
Yeah.
Straight up deporting.
And he said it wasn't just him. And he was like, yeah, maybe he was.
I think his name was Pablo.
No, his name was, I bless him because I know he doesn't want this to be his legacy, like Dominic Soler. But
it's your legacy, though. He was there trading, thinking like, oh, I'm one of the boys. You are never one of the boys. They will scapegoat your ass straight away. Nobody else got done for the crimes that actually crashed some businesses, like proper big banks.
Square coup.
There we go. I knew it was one of them.
He
That's the one.
Adwili. I bless it. Do you know, I actually think you know what? He was so dazed and confused when he landed back in Ghana. After 7 years of fighting the Home Office's plans to deport him, he got sent. He was arrested. Okay, so what happened? What did he do? The former UBS trader was jailed for 7 years in 2012 after being found guilty of fraud that cost the bank $2.3 billion, 1.8 billion pounds. He was released after serving half his sentence. He received a warm, enthusiastic welcome from family in Accra.
Not so bad. Like the way he was fighting. I was thinking, why are you doing that to stay here? Like,
but you don't know.
You almost crashed a bank. There's going to be no safety here for you. Like it's wild to try and stay here. It's not. You're not going to a war-torn country. Sometimes when people fight like this, especially when you're going to Ghana, I'm like, all right, guy, like just go. Just leave. It's actually not that deep. Like really, you'll be okay in Accra.
No, but you're not going to think because you're in the West and you're like, yeah, man, I'm living Western life. You're not going to think going back home to the Inakro villa.
He needed to use his flipping
noggin. He needed to use his noggin. Use your noggin, bruv. But anyway, this is the thing, black people, you can't. We're not. It's not in our land. This is not our country. As much as our country with a passport, sure. but we're not the indigenous folks of this UK here. We speak for the UK. We are not indigenous folks. You cannot do what they do. And the indigenous blacks of America, unfortunately, the way your country's set up, they don't like you, even though you built it. And so they don't play fair with you. So you can't do these things without being super, super smart.
And yeah, you always think, mate, but my boss was allowing it. Your boss has his other contingency plans. Your
boss is like, okay, and you got yeah, little black person, you do it until I'm bored, and then you get dash way. We're always the pawns. Okay.
So as we're advising black folk, Michael Rubin decided to advise black folk as well.
Well, hold on, that's true. By the way, that story before is absolute nonsense because Auntie did the nonsenses of the nonsenses.
Yeah, it is
nonsense. Okay, Michael Rubin.
Michael Rubin. He was on The Breakfast Club. The interview is up on The Breakfast Club. You can watch it. And as part of this interview, he decided to tell black people about themselves. He said that he hates that black people come for other black people, that we have a real problem with black on black hate. And, you know, when a black person is trying to do something, it's always other black people that try and tear them down. And he is sick of it. People come after his friends like Meek Mills, like Little Baby, like Jay-Z. And it's their own that try and destroy them. And it really annoys him. He thinks we have a real problem and we need to sort it out. This is what Michael Rubin decided to tell us. What say ye about his first thoughts on the black community?
Okay, so first of all, let's answer the question about who is Michael Rubin. He's a businessman. He's an American businessman, founder and CEO of Fanatics, a global digital sports platform that consists of several businesses: sports, betting, gaming, special events, live commerce, and collectibles. He's got lots of stuff. He's a rich person. He's part of the Philadelphia 76ers basketball team, and so on and so forth. And he also
a billionaire.
He's definitely a billionaire. He's also the co-chair of the Reform Alliance, a criminal justice reform organization that he launched in 2019 with Jay-Z, Meek Mill, Robert Kraft, and Daniel S. Lowe, among others. Okay, so and he's one of those friends of the blacks type person.
Yes, yeah, like
he does. Yes, exactly.
The kind of young guy now that he's youngish compared to like the old guard, that now seems to be taking up the mantelpiece for people to be like, I've got a billionaire brethren. And he has taken over since 2021, the White Party in the Hamptons that takes place in his mansion. Diddy was doing it for a while. There's been a succession of people that have done the White Party. And he is the latest one to do the White Party in the Hamptons where all of the pictures are shared.
And as a side note, he chose not to play Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us because Drake was in attendance. He's that guy.
Drake is his buddy as well.
Drake is his buddy. So in response to all of this, it's like, you know, when someone's just been at the barbecue for way too long.
Mm-hmm.
I know there are a lot of people saying that he has a right to speak on what's actually true. And people are saying and then there's the counter argument, there's no black on black hate. We have an issue with in the black space of being uber critical vocally about us. We have a way of banter and ribbing each other that sometimes can come across quite cruel. And then sometimes we are quite cruel. However, I just don't think that it's for anybody not of the community to talk about. You just don't need to say that. You can say that but also, by the way, the conversation expands when he talks about Jewish people having issue as well. So it just was the clip that went out was about him talking about black people having black on black issues. He spoke about his community afterwards as well. So the conversation expanded. But
he didn't
expand.
He was asked the question 3 times in different ways. Charlemagne asked him outright, does the Jewish community have this issue? He didn't answer. Then
I thought he did answer.
No, he didn't answer. He skated over it. Then Envy kind of drilled down further and was like, would you criticize or have you suffered criticism from the Jewish community? That is not the same. And that's when he started talking. So it was never the other way. He never said within the Jewish community
there's Jewish on Jewish hate.
No, said, I've been criticized by Jewish people because they say that I always support black people. And what am I doing to help Jewish people? And then he went back and said, actually, the thing is, I think that other communities support each other way more than black people do. I think that's why other communities have moved further, because they support each other and they don't hate on each other. So in a roundabout way, I feel like he discounted racism. Like, he put it on black folks that we are the ones that keep black people down. And that's simply not true.
I don't like him talking about it. We have our own shit to sort out, but it's not for him to talk about. That's the bottom line. And that's exactly it. He's undermining or debunking or dismissing the specific racism that black people go through, and the specific reason why it does appear that we can sometimes tear each other down in a little bit more of a way that, but we have a different way of being. It doesn't mean to say that white people don't do the same thing. Their shit is different. Their stuff is different. We do our stuff the way we do it. They do their stuff the way they do it. But it doesn't mean to say there were so many stories all day long, every day, of white people taking each other down all the time, going for each other all the time. Well, just watch politics, just watch anything. Watch EastEnders, for crying out loud. There's always shit. I slept with my mate. There's all this stuff about people undercutting. We watch Succession, for God's sake. That's white people doing white people business all over the place. It happens in every community. It just presents different. It presents differently. The difference for us is that we're a bit loud and vocal and we speak our shit. Maybe sometimes it's like, guys, just be quiet. Sometimes but that's our way.
We should be able to, you know what it is? I don't even think it's different. It's just highlighted, because there is this whole thing of crabs in a barrel. And it's like, what's created that atmosphere that you even have let's talk about what the barrel is, because that's other people holding us in a small container and only a few people can get out. Yeah. And then because you have that container, we're not talking about the container. You're actually being like, it's the crab's fault. They're the ones. That's it. Not the container. And it's like, oh, okay. So we're not going to talk about the container that is literally there, that only allows one or two at a time. And that one or two at a time that come out, we should be able to criticize them.
Yeah.
Because Jay-Z is an absolute asshole capitalist. Like, the guy will sell us down the river, and there is video evidence of him doing it in order to get to the NFL. He did that. He stopped other people getting that contract, and people listened to him so that he could get it. He does a lot of shit that sells black people down the river for his own gain. So we should be able to criticize him. Look at the shit with Diddy. Before, you couldn't criticize Diddy. But look what he was up to. We don't know what Meek Mill has been up to, and we don't know what Little Baby has been doing as well. We don't know what Drake is up to, but he is being exposed. And all of these people seem to be brethren with this man. And he can criticize black folk. But nah.
He has, but I think we do criticize in when we feel like it. I think it depends on who, but there is that kind of, we're scared to say things about certain people because of the power or because whatever, and it gets manipulated that either we're coming for them in a kind of crabs in a barrel way, or we're being anti-black men or anti-black women, depending on who the person is. So we have that shit that goes on us, because also we're in a bind when it comes to the success of black folks, where we don't want us to be torn down. We want to see us being successful at the same time. And we want everyone to be on the level playing field. Like we said about the story before, black people that do crime shouldn't be held under more scrutiny than white people that do crime. However, that's the world. So when Jay-Z does his business deals, in theory, it should be, if you do shady business deals, you just do shady business deals, and it shouldn't be that because you're black, you shouldn't do shady business deals. It should be just because as a business person, you shouldn't be doing shady business deals at all. But we have a way of, because of the oppression and the racism that we go through, we look at things through such a different lens. Whatever the case is, no white man should have, or white person or person outside of the community should be able to comment and have an opinion on a public space. You can have those conversations with your brethren. If he's saying I have these conversations all the time, fine. If your black friends feel comfortable having those conversations, go out, go off, but not you don't have the authority to say it, because one, it's going to be misconstrued, whether you've got good intentions or not, but it's not your place to say, because actually, if you're going to say that, speak on the whole thing, and you won't. Speak on the whole system. Speak on the whole system.
But because he's a part of the system,
he can't.
He isn't going to even go into it.
Yeah.
He is actually a pillar of white supremacy, that he feels that I can talk on this and say, you little black people, you need to stop hating on these folks that I'm giving a leg up to. Like, because if you carry on hating on them, they're not going to reach their full potential. No, you have more scope for where they're going to go than anybody criticizing them.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that isn't, these aren't the parameters of what is going to allow little baby to be the next one that they all pump his music to us continuously. They will do that. So it's just like, no, you're chatting shit. But the fact that he would not talk about the Jewish community, that was when I was just like, again, I love Charlemagne sometimes.
Sometimes.
You're sitting there being quiet where there's no way that those three people in that room didn't know exactly what he was doing, and they allowed him to chat shit. They allowed that to take place.
This is where I got he talked about, because when I listened to the next day, I didn't get a chance to listen to the full interview. For some reason, I listen / watch Breakfast Club all the time, but I missed that. And so I saw the clip, and then I listened to the next day's Breakfast Club, and they were talking about in their version of News and Nonsense. And Charlemagne said, well, you know, he spoke about the Jewish community, and they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, so he did. That's why I came in thinking that's what he did. You guys didn't watch the whole thing. Didn't change my opinion that he shouldn't have spoken on it, but I thought, okay, so there's context and people miss the context. But if that be the case, yeah, you guys just
he dodged it.
Yeah,
dodged it was about himself. You know how he even dodged it further? Envy said the Jewish community come after Kamala Harris's husband and say that he's not a good Jewish man. What do you think about that? And he went, I've never heard anything like that. I didn't even know he was Jewish. And I was like, and there he is.
What?
Exactly. It's like, and there he is. So you can avoid talking about your community in any way, shape, or form, but you can really go in waxing lyrical about how black people hate on each other. No holds barred. Like literally,
no one said anything. Like, you didn't know. No one made a joke.
Nothing. It was silent because they knew what was going on. They knew he is not going to talk about the Jewish community.
And they should have been shut down. I don't know. That's the thing. You can't have heroes because, like I said, Charlemagne, I love, and I love is a strong. I like his, and then I don't like his, because sometimes he just is like, what are you doing? But then other times I'm like, fair dues, dude. But you have to. That's why you have to get your news sources from everywhere. And like I didn't watch the whole clip myself. I relied on what he was saying, thinking that, well, there's no, why would they lie about it? You've got something, you can't just rest on one person. But yeah, no, you don't. He doesn't have the right to talk about it. That and black people in positions just don't. Why do you get so comfortable? And I get it. Maybe it's difficult because actually I don't even know if it's difficult. I don't know when the Kool-Aid when you get to the bottom of the Kool-Aid, and then everything is just like rose tinted, and you're like, okay, we're all the same, and yeah, we're rich people. And
I think at some point, like how everybody kind of gets comfortable in their settings, they feel like they're a part of it.
Yeah, and you're not.
So you can talk on it, and so when they are speaking down on black people, you can also really get into the like pull yourself up by the bootstrap.
Yeah,
you get into that frame of mind as well, but that is also a part of racism. Like they have allowed you to do that. It's not how you think it happens. Those spaces aren't. Jay-Z didn't just fall into that space. No. Sheer hard work. You were picked because they knew that you would shit on quite a few people. And why the NFL thing wasn't just business is because he was using his kudos and his respect that people had for him to talk on racism and be like, we should boycott the NFL. He basically used Colin Kaepernick losing his actual whole career, standing on something, and he was stopping other people from getting involved in the conversation and being like, we shouldn't even talk to them while you're talking to them. That's using oppression to give yourself a leg up. That's where he's fuckeries.
I was going to say, speaking of Colin Kaepernick, because Colin wants to get back into the NFL.
Boy.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel? Because basically, let me get to the story. Colin Kaepernick still thinks he could land a spot in the NFL. So he hasn't played in the NFL since 2016, from when he took a knee to protest racial injustice. And from that, it turned into a whole big campaign. And, everyone was kneeling. But he said he wants to help the NFL, wants to help any NFL team win a championship despite an 8-year absence. He continues to train and hopes an NFL team owner will give him a chance to return. And he hopes to participate in the 2028 Olympics in flag football. Flag football is, honestly, it sounds wild. It's American football with bandanas or something. You have to grab the flag. It sounds ridiculous. But guys, I've not watched it, so guys tell me what it's like. Americans, da, 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 da. But my thing is,
I get it. I mean, it's his sport, but I think, dude, it's getting older now. Is it ever going to happen? I just think you've been shunned. Like, it's just how it is. Like, they dashed you out, and it doesn't feel. It feels like maybe he's just got to let this one go. But it's his dream. So,
but it's also has the NFL changed for the better?
I don't.
Guys, American. If there's anyone from America, have post taking the knee, and now slowly everyone's unbent their knee and standing, and everyone's playing back to normal. The national anthem's playing. Some people are saying that whatever. Has things changed in the NFL since Colin Kaepernick took this stance and sports people took this stance?
I wonder. I don't know what actually,
because
specifically, other than Jay-Z now does the halftime show. So what's the big shift? What actually took place that we can say it's different? But he's been trying to get back in for years now.
But he has, but I think that was the thing that was
Alexandra says there has been more scandal since.
Well, tell us more, because that's the thing. Because like and I get when you become an accidental hero and you don't mean to be. There's also that, then the weight of responsibilities on your shoulders, and maybe you just wanted to take the knee for a little second, but then you had to
play it. Yeah,
and then kind of now, oh shit, I'm now the poster of taking the knee. I do actually just want to play, but I've got to see it through. And maybe he's been on a journey. I don't know if it's fair to judge him, but I feel like I'm judging him.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's fair.
Laugh out loud. No, it just feels like their so-called efforts are more performative now, in my opinion.
I was about to say, Alexandra, about hiring black coaches, because that's was part of the issue. That there were no like black coaches on the NFL.
So now it seems like they are deliberately not hiring. Poor blimey. That's crazy. And Share 13 says, unfortunately, no team is looking at Cap. The time for the NFL to change was when Cap first took the knee, and all those black men should have stood behind him. That's that is the truth of the matter.
That's the thing. Hold on, let's see. I've just found an article. Let me see if it's a modern one. Oh, that's 2022. Okay.
Realistically, would a team let him back in? Because what does that say for other people? Like, if you're really gonna shun someone properly and it deters everybody else because it's like, this act will destroy my career, are you really going to go back on that and just let him back in 8 years? Like, you may collectively as an institution, you may be like, there is no way that we can let this guy back in, because then before you know it, we're going to have 5 people doing protests, and then we're going to have like loads of black players being like, yeah, we can protest this and still have a career. They're going to make an example of him.
Well, okay, so on USA Today, the article is dated, I can't see the date. I did put in 2024, so I'm hoping it's an up-to-date date. They have said, NFL owners have clung to the idea that people of color couldn't coach their teams. They didn't look the part. They didn't interview well. They didn't have the right experience. They didn't have the right connections. All that type of nonsense. Well, look at the league now. Hours after the Carolina Panthers hired Dave Canales as their head coach, Thursday came the news that Atlanta Falcons decided on Raheem Morris. That makes 4 men of color hired in a single coaching cycle, a record for the NFL, according to data. That's 4. Can you imagine the amount of players over the years? It also brings the number of head coaches of color to 9, 1 more than the previous record for a single season. And there are still 2 jobs, the Seattle Seahawks and Washington Commanders, left to fill. So it's tremendously significant. 2 years ago, we were talking about how we couldn't get the number to move up. This year, it seems like it's moved the needle pretty well, said Adrian Boucher, director of the Institute of Diversity and Ethics in Sport. And the 9 coaches of color account for 28% of the 32 coaches in a league where roughly 2/3 of the players are men of color. Deserving coach, and 8 teams have still not hired a man of color, and 3 more have not hired one since the 1990s.
My God. Mia says the NFL is a high-paid plantation.
That's what they say. That's what they say. That's what they say.
It you know, the Netflix documentaries that they had on it was like college football though that they focused on.
Yeah.
Watching that, it really did feel very even how they would like treat them. It was like kind of like you got to break the kids down and then you build them up, and then the way they looked up to their coaches to me was sickening. It was so much like, yes sir, boss, he wants the best for me. Like it just felt it was off. It was very off. And the fact that it's so flipping dangerous, and then you have these people walking around with flipping brain damage. It's wild.
I think they've changed the rule of football because of the sorry, I want to get that CTE that happened. So apparently they've changed it. What was I going to say? It's completely gone out of my head. But let me read Yvonne's comment. Same as the Premier League. How many black men have played for England and different PL teams, and not one has made it to management? This is, I mean,
exactly the same. Exactly the same. And even on like they always talk about that there's like a ceiling. Like, so you can have like the assistant coach can be black.
Yeah, not the main, not the head. The head. You can't be the HNIC.
So you can be sideways, but not the actual head.
Who's Lamar Jackson? See, this is what because I'm not an NFLer. I'm more basketball, so I kind of know a little bit more about basketball. What's happening with Lamar Jackson?
Some people also think the contract negotiations with Lamar Jackson had some racial connotations with it. I wouldn't be surprised. Mia says, you know, those billionaire team owners sit in the VIP boxes and call the players all manner of ungodly slurs as they drink champagne and smile.
This is the thing, because look, there's tough training, like that kind of get your head in the game. But I was having this conversation with somebody who's in the arts, and recently there's been a few stories about the arts where students are complaining about their treatment. And this one of my friends, he's a graduate of the arts, and he was in the old school. He's an older guy, so he was doing training and dancing. Like those days, you could not. So today they're a lot more sensitive. But I would say, do you have to be cruel to get the best out of people? Because you have crazy geniuses who've got kind of dodgy personalities, but that they create genius work. And then you've got people who went through that hard knock. To go to watch Black Swan, for example, as a film example of like the ballet world being so awful.
Yeah, horrible to be
a part of, like elite ballet institutions. But do you have to go through that thing to bring out absolute excellence? Because we know that especially when we look to America and China, countries like that, they take their sports seriously. I don't know. I'm not going to say that I know that their methods are all horrible or bad, but in the UK, you have very much a lackadaisical approach when it comes to sporting and the way that we train, just like reputationally. I don't know, like actually individual cases. So do you think that you need to have that harshness to survive the brutality of sport and competition? Because you cannot be soft. You have to be that person that can get up and train all day, all night, and want to win. But does it take wickedness?
I don't know. It doesn't feel right.
No.
But I feel no. I think that sometimes there literally are psychotic people who find themselves in this field, and they set a tone of what the treatment is going to be. But I feel like the excellence is the excellence. So the talent is there. You've just decided the methodology to do this, to get this talent out, is cruelty. And maybe there's other ways, but it does seem psychopathic to me, because even I watched a documentary years ago on it was in Russia, the gymnastic. Remember when Russia used to just win.
Yeah.
And when they used to go and get orphans and train them up from babies, and it's literally like, okay, so you've basically broken this human and robotically made them to be this. But who knows what they could have done?
Exactly.
Like, really, if you didn't have this regiment, like, they have no life. And maybe most humans, if you did do that to them, could achieve some formulas of greatness, but we don't know what else they would have done if they had their own freedoms as well.
But this is the thing. I think it's definitely because it's a tried and tested pattern. Everyone expects, oh, you're going to be told you're fat. If you're a model, you've got to be told you're fat. You've got to be told to lose weight. You've got to be told that you're ugly. You've got to say this is, America's Next Top Model got a gossip in the neck a little bit for going too far with their criticism. And that's just a TV reality show, a scripted reality show where it doesn't need to be that deep, but they're like, we're preparing you for the toughness of the industry. But if everybody in the industry took a moment and actually realized that, okay, for the world, it is just modeling. We understand because I've been
wearing clothes.
I've been a part of that. We've both been a part of the fashion industry from behind the scenes. I understand the beauty of it, and it's a self-created importance because it is just wearing clothes and just being beautiful wearing clothes. Do you have to insult somebody?
No.
Do you have to? And if you change it where tough and being tough, like, no, you're not going to, like, I don't know. As I think someone said, there's a level of difference between toughness, cruelty, and outright sadism. Yeah, there's that.
Precisely. And yeah, what I was witnessing with the Russia team was definitely sadism. And then it just felt like there's a lot of teachers, as the saying would go, who can't do, and they are out here just breaking people's spirits.
Yeah.
And if you're tough enough, you kind of get through it. But yeah, there's some pleasure in the breaking down another human being.
There's that, because where are you coming from that you want to break someone down? Because what's going on was, are you a fail? It's typically the failed creative that didn't get to do what they wanted to do, so now they're going to take it out on everybody else. Well, I didn't make it, so you got to get all of that stuff.
You've got to jump through hoops and then it's like you're so broken, then you make it, and then it's kind of like, if it wasn't for me doing that to you, you wouldn't be where you are. And it's like, actually, maybe not. Maybe I still would be there, and I didn't need to put up with your trauma in order to get there. Maybe I would have still met that same aim with my art in a nicer way.
Who watches The Bear? I was going to do a spoiler in this latest series. Who watches The Bear? If you don't watch it, because I love The Bear's a brilliant series. It's on Disney Plus. It's brilliant. It's set in the chefing world. It's freaking amazing.
Don't know it.
Freaking, I absolutely adore it. It's a brilliant series. Anyway, okay, I won't go into detail with the names and stuff, but there's a moment because the main guy who's a chef, he's got family trauma. He's a bit of an oddball. He's got so much stuff going on usually, but yet he's a cooking genius, right? So he's got this oddball community of chefs where he works with, and it's all the stories and highs and lows of that journey. It's such a brilliant series. But there's a moment when he meets his mentor chef who was cruel, and he gets a chance to confront him, and he's like, I have PTSD, but the chef is like, I know, but you're great. And that's it. I don't want to go into it because it's such a moment. It's that so this guy is suffering, and then there's something in the guy, because the guy has to resolve his journey, because you built that ogre, that person. Maybe if you've had a teacher that was horrible to you, or someone that made you feel some type of way, and then maybe you've succeeded. However, it's that person that you attribute your shift. So that person kind of did you a favor, but also messed you up. Yeah. And he really wanted to have that moment with him, like, you fucked me up. He wanted an apology. He wanted something. The guy was like, you're great.
Yeah. And goodbye.
And that was it.
Because they don't give a shit. It's the problem. Ezra says sometimes it's the people who succeeded despite tough love who perpetuate it, not recognizing that they are an anomaly.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, like Michael Jackson and his dad, definitely. There is some sick people out there, but think about it. Their family was talented. You probably didn't need to traumatize them.
You didn't need to traumatize them. And it's that fear, because my daughter, I won't, a lot of mothers go through that thing. My daughter's going to be a ballerina. I wanted my daughter to be a tap dancer because I felt that was black. Because I was like, I love Gregory Hines. I love tap dancing, even though it's got the content. I love tap dancing. I was like, she's going to be. I'm like, where is she going to tap in the UK? Like, no one cares. I love the historical black connection to tap dancing. So I took her to ballet class. She didn't give a damn. We went to Arts Ed near me, and that's a quite renowned art school in the UK. She didn't care. Took her to tap dancing. She was like, And I took her to performing arts. She was like, So I was like, we were talking about it the other day. I was like, imagine if I was a pushy mum. And sometimes I wonder, like, should I have pushed her? Because she could sing. And so I've wondered if I should push her into performing arts, because my daughter could really sing. But later on, we found the gospel choir, and she's thrived in the gospel choir until it was like she got over it. But part of me was like, I wonder if I was a pushy mum, would she be a world-renowned tap dancer or performing arts person? Or was I right to let her make her own choice? But some parents push their child, not with it being evil or wicked, but they do, like, my child's got a talent, I'm gonna push them into it and make sure that they don't back out of it because I can see something. It's that fine line between it, you're pushing them and you don't get it. And when do you allow them to quit? Because there's also that, oh, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
I think you've got to see their natural talent. So let's say, even if you take Simone Biles, like, she just stumbled upon going to gymnastics, and thrived there. You probably needed pushing at certain points when it gets hard, and you just need to tip them, just, boost to their confidence and keep them going. That's one thing. But then there's just an innate natural ability
to just do it.
I just has a natural. My firstborn, he has a natural affinity with dance.
Yes,
you don't have to push him, because he himself wants to do it. All I will have to do is just do performance critique, keep your head up, just standard stuff. But he has a natural drive. And if he was losing that in teenage years, which can happen, then I'd push him a little bit more. But I think you can't, if they're just kind of semi good at something, they have to then have the drive, and then you just keep it going. I don't think it's ever fair as a parent. You see a little bit of something and then you're like, you can't quit. It's you. It's like, nah, because you don't know what their life could be. And it's just not yours. They have to do it. It's their life. Like,
have you seen that viral clip of the black mum teaching her son how to do American football? And it's like she's like a type of mum. She's literally like teaching him how to. He's maybe 8 or something. There's a video going around. Yeah. Let's get some comments.
All right, so Ezra, I loved FD Signifier. FD Signifier has a good video called "It's Tough Loving Lauryn Hill." Her Apollo crowd was surely hazing her in some way.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I've not seen. But did she used to do stuff at the Apollo? Destiny Love says humans suffer from ego, and in different industries it shows up in ways that is hard to control because of the satisfaction and feelings of achieving whatever it is that's the goal. Yeah, definitely. And Nora says most parents live their dreams through their kids. Yeah. And Yvonne says now her mama wants to hook up with her. Yes,
that's Simone Biles' mom.
But her mom's wild.
Let's speak on that though, because she recognized that at the time, I'm not good for my children.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's so many. It's like, first and foremost, is she absolutely clean and is she really healthy? And then how does she get back in her child's life? Did she do a public facing, I want to be back, or was it someone taking her conversation and put it out there?
No, I think it was like a semi-interview. I don't know who was conducting the interview. It may have been a small news network that managed to get a hold of her. But she clearly is stating, like, she wants to be a part of her life, and she wants to be a part of her life, but she wants Simone to call her. And it's like, okay, why? And if you want to be a part of her life, should you, the parent, not be the one that is trying to get hold of her? Like, why should she be coming to you? I will never understand that whole thing where a parent who has done fuckeries, is absent, effectively abandoned their kids for drugs and drink, whatever your ills were, you abandoned your children, and basically your parents picked up the slack and took them from foster care. That your child, now that she has made a huge success of her life, should want you involved in it. She may not. You have to do the work so that you become involved in her life. It's like, you call her.
You call her. Yeah. I was wondering if she's thinking, if you want to make the first move, because I don't want to encroach. But my thing is, you can't go public. Yes, there's ways to find, because if you like, there's ways, because I think who said it? Wasn't it the Daily Mail that found her? Waving Cat Design says, wasn't it the Daily Mail that found her? I have no idea, but a newspaper's always got an agenda. And also, I will give. Let's wonder if this woman is of intelligence to really understand how that not to be manipulated, because lots of people don't. We assume that everyone understands that actually these people don't care about you. They're not trying to help you. They just want to get a story out of you.
Mm-hmm.
So does she understand the dynamics of the media, how you can be a puppet? Not everyone does. And is her, you call me because I don't want to encroach. You do. That's a little bit of taking the responsibility off your back. I don't know. But my main thing is, do not take it public, because it's not that deep in that respect. Okay. There must be ways to go and find your child.
It was the Daily Mail. Yeah, so because I don't ever go onto it, so the clip came to me via. I just saw the clip of her and could hear the voice of the person asking her questions. But yeah, it's not the way, and I don't know if she is of sound mind. But from what she was saying, because she did get asked, I haven't added this part in. I swear she got asked, "Do you have her telephone number?" And she was like, "Yes." And again, it's like,
I need to read this because Victoria.
What are you going to like? Why we don't even know. I'm sure she's held some of the dramatic stuff with her parent anyway, just to save her. Like, she could be an absolute calamity, and maybe one of those people that when she's in your life just upends it. She may not, you know. It's like, if you want to prove that you're a good mother now and you want to be a part of her life, you have to do that. It's not for her to come to you. You abandoned her.
Yeah. Victoria's saying it's the Daily Fail, but more of her daughter is a millionaire and she lives in poverty. Mum was also clear that she messed up in the past and they will reconnect when the time is right. So,
if ever,
I think there's definitely. It sounds like Daily Mail want their story.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, I don't know. I'd need to read it to really hear the words of like, or read what I think she's saying or where she's coming from. But first and foremost, this doesn't need to be public. I mean, you've got her number. There's no need to have a conversation. We talked about a lot. There's a lot of stuff. So Michael Rubin, absolute nonsense. Colin Kaepernick, do not get back into the NFL. Absolute nonsense. Be something else. Yeah. And then pushy, wicked methods to get the excellence out of people. Absolute nonsense. Yeah. Simone Biles' mum, absolute nonsense. This whole thing.
This is family business, should not be presented, especially not to the Daily Mail. But again, you know, what's her name's dad was back out here. Meghan Markle was trying to.
He's one of the worst trying to get back. Oh my God.
He can't stop going to the press with, oh my God, she won't talk to me. Because you keep on going to the flipping press.
And also, it's again, with being someone who's being funded for their foolishness. You get paid, because you do get paid.
Yeah.
And it's a quid pro quo. Like, okay, scratch back, we'll get a bit of headlines out of you. We know that your name always gets us links and clicks, so we'll give you a bit of money. So this is what money's running dry. You'll get this stipend. Come on, you're on their payroll.
His latest thing is, you know, I wanna see the grandkids.
Get out of here! You imagine you of all people. You don't deserve to, before you keep him and quiet. Maybe by now you would have been in the life that you would keep crying for. There's not a chance in hell you're seeing mine. Look what you're doing to their parents. And
like, you should constantly chatting. You can't stop. Like, you was ready to be sending letters. Like, literally, it's like you are the messiest of parents. And another one, if she had let him into her life, it would be you wouldn't even have to have William and Kate selling stuff. Your dad would be there selling you out every other second.
You couldn't even relax, because even you just sneeze. It's in the press. Oh, it wasn't me. Yeah. Like, come on. Who did that? All right. So this one, we talked about the arts. I wanted to get into this. We're breaking the rules already. We've got one more story, bros. Blackout theatre nights. How do you guys feel about blackout theatre nights? The latest play to do it is a slave play, which is currently in the UK right now. I've seen it.
What did you think of it?
That is what I thought of it. I have seen it. I have seen it, and I have seen it, and I have fucking seen it. However, we'll get to that. Blackout theatre performances, where shows are reserved predominantly for Black identifying audiences, have been a growing practice in the UK. These performances aim to create a safe and inclusive environment for Black audiences free from the white gaze. This concept first gained significant attention with plays like Passover by Antoinette Nwandu at the Royal Court Theatre and Clybourne Park at Theatre Royal Stratford East. Both plays use these performances to facilitate a more resonant and reflective experience for Black viewers. The controversy around these events centered on debates about inclusivity and segregation in the theatre. So the most recent and notable example is Jeremy O. Harris's Slave Play, which brought the discussion back into the spotlight, sparking significant media coverage and public debate. Mr. Rishi Sunak, when he was in power, has previously criticised blackout performances. He expressed concerns about the divisive nature of reserving performances exclusively for Black identifying audiences, arguing that it could foster segregation rather than inclusivity. How do you feel, guys, about blackout theatre nights? Is it news, nonsense, or what?
It's definitely news and needed. There are so many people who don't feel that a theatre is for them, that they should be in these spaces. And so you have that experience of a theatre isn't for me. It's generally like a white middle class space. And so I don't go to the theatre. There's that. But then there's also a mining of your feelings, you park it to one side when you're around white people. And we're kind of socialized to do that, like to care about what they think when they're in our space or watching things that we would be like, this is a Black themed show. We can mind how we respond to the show when there is a white person there. So I feel that it's needed that people get used to going to the theatre, and they get used to going to the theatre without wondering how white people are perceiving them in the theatre.
Yeah.
And that to me is all that's being done. It's like, and it doesn't need to happen forever. Like sometimes you need to socialize people in a way that they feel comfortable, that they have autonomy to be in spaces, and then they're fine. And then you don't need that anymore. Like it's not going to be a thing because we there's not a lack there. There's not a thing that we need to address. So this may be something that we need to do to socialize Black people in the UK for 5 years, and then it goes.
The thing is, we have community spaces anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you have places that people of different cultures gravitate towards naturally. The theatre, whether it's a Black play, white play, theatre people are white in the UK. They are white. Work that I do with the British Blacklist, we stay in the theatre. A regular night, whatever the play, white people find themselves at the theatre. And sometimes you're like, you know what? And it is a thing. And I'd love if we have any white people in the comments in our family, would love to know if you guys ever feel like, you know what? I just want to be with my people. I don't know if you ever have that feeling. And if you do, it'd be interesting to explore that. But sometimes, because of the nature of our stories and because we have a lack of stories, sometimes you just want to take your bra off and let your tits hang and watch your shit with your people, because there's a collective community spirit that is when we're watching our creativity. And we're a spiritual folk. Sometimes our laughter, our pain, our tears give a vibe and energy for all of us. And especially the theatre, because it's so intimate. Sometimes you're watching stories that really tap in to your psyche in a different way than a film does specifically. So then having a Black only space, a moment in time, is so important. When I went to see Slave Play, we were sat behind some white folks who on the record, I couldn't stand Slave Play. I know lots of people, it's one of those Marmite plays. I didn't like it. However, these people in the front, their reaction was distracting. So and then also being in an audience of white folks as well, laughing at places that you're like, what are you laughing at, fam? Because I'll get tumbling at you. What are you laughing at? Why are you laughing at this moment? And you want to punch them up, but that takes you out of the moment. Yeah. You've got these people up front that are showing disgruntled. There was a play that I went to see. It was let me get the name, sorry. I want to get the name right. God damn it. It was Schoolgirls for the African Mean Girls. Schoolgirls or the African Mean Girls play. That was at the Lyric Theatre in Hammersmith by Jocelyn Bio. Beautiful play set in Ghana. Wonderful play. We was again sat behind two white women who were almost like, why is this funny? Or what they had this reaction. it was hard because the play was phenomenal to me, and my daughter, we were so kind of, it's offensive and it feels like racism, and they might not have liked it, but your reaction was disturbing to us because we were in front, we're behind you, so we can see your reaction. If these white people weren't there, great time.
It would have been fine. I think I don't even know why people care so much with these things, but as somebody said, it's like whenever we just want to do our own thing, it turns into you can't do it.
Yeah.
Where you will go to the ballet and it will be full of white people and nobody is saying anything.
No.
No one gives a hootenanny about it. But black people want to just have their own thing that they can go to. That turns into, oh my God, it's so divisive. So it's not divisive when you have all spaces and it's just full of white people. That's
on that. I think I understand. All I will say is that those nights aren't marketed as white nights. That's the only thing. What theatre and other spaces
not exclusive for black people.
But that's my point. It's like we need to integrate the arts. There has to be a thing where you don't feel that going to the National Theatre or going to, the Royal Opera House is not for you as a black person. You should be able to enter those spaces and feel comfortable. Also, there's things about these tickets are expensive. So sometimes blackout nights come with discounted nights as well, because the economy is real. We're not all in the 1%, and theatre is very much elitist pastime. And like, unless you're coming off West End and to my local theatres, it is a very expensive pastime. You can absolutely pay up to hundreds and hundreds for theatre tickets for good seats. So there's that. There's also a bit of like discount for that. So it's about it's about inclusion. So that's the only reason why they can say, well, we don't do whiteout nights. The whataboutery of it all. It's got nothing to mind your business of what we're doing, because it doesn't stop you from going for every.
It's not true.
Yeah,
it's true to say we don't do whiteout nights. You do. You just don't market it.
It's just default.
It's actually not pleasant sometimes going to white spaces and being the only black person there. It's not a pleasant experience. It's not just because the white people are there. They don't make you feel welcome either. So it's like you have these things that people will say it's not taking place. Like, it's not like that. You will get looked at like, why are you here? This is not for you. So it's like, we need to switch it up sometimes. It needs to be seen. You need to feel comfortable in the building, and then you'll go to more.
And especially for black plays, because like black creators, yes, we have a few creators that don't want to appeal to the white audiences. There's that, because that, again, racism. But there are playwrights who just they're speaking like Mean Girls or African Mean Girls play. That was for black people. Yes, anyone else is welcome, but that was speaking to us in our language, in our way, so we can have a moment. So we need, and it doesn't. One thing that white people are going to do, it's a stereotype. One thing white people are going to do is going to buy their tickets on time. Yeah. Or they're going to buy them literally the minute the ticket drops. It's like, hold on, I was just literally opening the link. They're gone. And then the audience, so that's sometimes we need a minute. Sometimes we need to check.
It's a part of their culture. It's part of where they go and sit, and it is different. It needs to become a part of ours as well. Like, we need to be able to feel comfortable in these buildings, and that's still not all buildings are even catering to having a black play there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
People are going to go and experience going to the theatre for even the first time in their lives. Like, there are still loads of people who have never been to a West End theatre. They may have gone to Lewisham, but actually going into a West End show, that may not have happened.
Because the longest running so-called black play in the West End is Lion King. And we're only having absolutely recently having more. Like the Shifters has moved to the West End, starring Tosin Cole and Heather Ajiempong, and then we had 4 Black Boys, which moved off West End into West End. And as Yvonne's saying, I went to see the play for Black Boys, and white folk were asking why was it called that. I mean, mind your fucking business.
The title
is for why Black Boys considered suicide.
Like, literally, it's like, so what do you want it? Sometimes this is the thing that infuriates me. And I loved that play. I think it's got so much gravitas and is so important. to inspire other people to really put their creativity
Yeah.
into their own like journeys and be like, I can express this and create a theatre production. I thought it was brilliant, and I think it's going to really shape a lot of people who may have felt like, oh, theatre's not for me, or playwriting's not for me, but they may think, actually, I could do this.
Mm.
I have a story to tell, and I could create a play from it. That I
I
love.
mean, black playwrights in the UK do well. Like off West End, there's a lot of stuff. Like over the years of 13 years of doing British Blacks, they've been in some amazing plays that are not all about trauma and stress, but it's just getting it into the West End, which is that next level of prestige. Having them come back because there are some stories that there are some fused white stories that come back. How many Othellos have we seen?
Like
How many
time
Romeo and Juliets have we seen? And like the fact that Black Boys came back, and the fact that Shifters is coming back and it's coming to the West End, that's a change. That is something positive change, because some plays get redone and redone, and people can stay in work for a long amount of time. Just having a play come back again and back again. Abner, yes, African Mean Girls was brilliant. Abner, the actress, so it was brilliant. And we went to a blackout night. I missed the blackout night. I was so pissed. We went to a night. Our night was black. We went to the opening, so that everyone was there. So it was that way. It was kind of fun industry. But there was a blackout night that I really wanted to go to because it was the whole vibe of it all.
It makes it exciting for people to be like, I'm going to go to the theatre. I think that's actually like an important pastime.
Yeah.
Rochelle says, I'm hoping Angie Lamar is currently playwriting whilst living it up in JA.
We hope so too.
Well, when she comes back and comes on the Aunties, because she has said when she comes back to the UK, she will come on. We will definitely ask her. Definitely ask her what's going on.
So Blackout Nights is absolutely news. Sign up to sign up to all the theatre newsletters and keep an eye out on Blackout Nights. I think there's actually an organisation called Blackout Theatre, and if you follow them,
that who's putting it out there. I always wonder. I just get people saying it's happening, like, but I didn't know where I could get that information from myself.
Blackout. Ooh, is this American or UK? It's .com. It happens in America too. They have Blackout Nights in America. I'll find it. Or just Google Blackout Nights in the UK. I'm not sure if this is the right site, so I don't want to put it in there. It's a mistake. So you can follow.
Serious Yvonne, she says that she is, and she has a project in the pipeline with Tyler Perry. Really? I need more information on this. We need to actually try and get her on a live then.
We need to get Auntie Angie on. Definitely.
Yes, and Ezra Sprouts, definitely. The fact that people are kicking off about not being centered 100% of the time is just peak privilege.
Peak privilege. Mind your business. Like something like when I went into slave, I was like, oh my god, it's cool slave play. What happens in the play? I mean, gosh, I need more of you guys to see it.
I need
more guys to see it so that we can. I do want a really good breakdown of it. I kind of want to see it again, but I don't. I actually don't want to see it again.
I only want to go on one of those pay what you can.
We need to hurry up before it goes. You need to go, and I might do that because I got a press ticket, and I went with my good friend, my good sis Juanita, and we came out flabbergasted. But then in my Black critics group that I'm in, some of them were like, "This is amazing! It was amazing," and others were like, "Couldn't stand it." It is that Marmite.
Yeah, okay.
A lot happens. Kit Harington's in it. Denzel Washington's daughter's in it, and I didn't realize it was her till afterwards. And it's a lot, man.
We didn't do Elsa, did we?
Who?
Elsa Majambo.
No.
Can we do that quickly before we go?
Okay.
People think. All right. I'm going to play you a video. So Elsa Majimbo, who kind of got famous, I guess, internet famous at 2020. Is she Kenyan? I feel like, or maybe Ugandan.
Don't know.
No, it's an African girl. She would have her hair in little like twisty things, and she'd be eating crisps and making us laugh. And that gave her some internet fame. And now she's doing very, very well. And she's also like a championship chess player.
Is she?
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's got many strings to her bow, but she does really well. And she had this to say about sending money home.
Sending money back home or to your extended family is such a common African practice that I absolutely hate. I saw my dad doing it, and I don't even know any of my extended family. I saw him doing it with his brothers, with his sisters, with his grandparents, parents, like everyone in the family, as long as you have a job, they expect you to share that money accordingly. And that is just something I will not be participating in. I already knew I would never participate in this. Like, how do you come and tell me, oh, my kids are starving? Yeah, they're starving because you're fucking lazy. Get off your ass, get a job, and feed your kids. And also, there's this one like extended family member of ours, and she used to ask my dad for money, and she texted me and she asks me for money. You've been asking my dad for money since before I was born. I was raised, I grew up. Now you're asking me for money. You lazy son of a bitch. I am not fitting your habits. I'm not fit. Clearly you're too lazy to be alive. I will let you starve. The fuck?
What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I want to swear at her and say nonsense. Like, I don't have nothing to say because, again, sometimes not everything's real. I know you've got to keep your. I do know who she is now. I've seen her. I literally saw that the still headline. I was like, oh fuck off. Yeah. Some of our family members are back home are lazy. Some of them aren't. It's case by case, family by family. It's nothing to talk about. What are you changing out here? What difference are you making? If you don't need to tell us that this is what's happening, you tell them I'm not giving you the money because you're lazy, and it's done. Get on to the next subject.
Yes, I think so. I thought it was really crass and in poor taste. I know she can do bits and pieces that kind of stirs up people talking, but this one I was like, oh, I really don't like this expression of I've done really well, and then my family are taking the piss out of me, or they want to take the piss, and I'm just not going to have it. Like, there's just something I find really crass about this, especially when it's like an African that's managed to make it to the West, and it's kind of like I did it, I got out. Like, why can't you? And it's not always that simple. And I get the frustrations. Definitely have family that it is frustrating, but I do feel like I was very, very fortunate because in the same way, that could have been me. If I was another one of my parent siblings, I could have been the one that was born in Ghana that would have been hoping that an aunt or somebody or an uncle brought me over here so that I could change my life. Or I would be waiting on, I'm going to go and live in that auntie or uncle's house that's in Ghana. Like, that literally could have been my circumstance. So that she has this level of elevation and you have a bit of wealth, it feels weird to me to be like, go and get a job. Like, I don't know, it doesn't sit well with me at all. And
this, like I said I wanted to make this an enemy of progress, because I think this is nonsense. She's a witch.
Oh, you put her under witch? Because
why are you saying? Because this is what we're talking about. Black people doing anti-blackness for selling us out. What are you talking about?
Out move, isn't it? Maybe that's.
I don't like it. I don't. And the way she did it, smirking, is as if to say she knows what she's doing. You're going to get the attention. Tell her, like, oh, I would slap her left and right.
I mean, she was definitely getting it on the internet. But yes, I think maybe that's what it is. That she probably does need to be brought forward to the enemy of progress table.
Yeah, this is not news. This is not news. It's not nonsense. She's a witch.
I liked her. I did like her, and when she came forward about Naomi Campbell as well, it was like, actually, there's something to this girl. This just felt like, why are you doing this? And why are you doing this and turning it into news? So loads of people are also jumping on this bandwagon, like, yeah, no, why are we sending money back home? Like, it just didn't feel like the right.
And then it makes you think about everything she's talking about. So was there any kind of leeway in the conversation with Naomi, like what you're talking about, Naomi Campbell? Can we trust your story? Do you know what I mean? Because when you start smelling yourself and feeling yourself, then everything else starts to unravel, because everything looks like you hyped shit up for the gram. Like,
yes.
A resounding F you. There's no need for this. It doesn't help. Like I said, it goes back. It does not help. The leeching auntie, the leeching this person. might see this and like, oh, you talked about me on the camera, and then that's it. What's going to happen? So they don't ask you. Just say to them, "We're not giving you the money."
It's just a simple no. It's true.
Okay, so yeah, it's like honestly, this is I feel like we're crossing boundaries. It's an enemy of progress. She needs to go. I'll bring her up next on the next show again because
Sure,
no,
she'll be on the show.
yeah.
All right. Yvonne is saying, did you see the story about an English woman taking off her knickers and putting them in a pastry basket in an Italian supermarket?
Yeah. Again, shit for the gram. Nonsense.
What? So that whole tray of food now is contaminated. Like what? You know what? Sometimes these people.
It's the thing because
prison.
Because sorry, what did you say? I cut you.
They need to go to prison. Like you've just ruined somebody's trade. Like what type of shit is that?
And imagine, you see, and then people are stealing chicken wings. I don't know how to tie it in, but there's something in it. But it's that fresh. Because listen, who eats from the fresh food? Because sometimes, like I do, I think my mum gets the fresh croissants from Lidl, and they are very good croissants. I must say, mummy likes them. So
I haven't for a while. But maybe pandemic times like made me stop
getting things that are just out in there because
because I did love the croissant things actually. Like that was like something. Or sometimes there's these twisty things. Oh, that was out in Tesco's. I used to love those, but yeah, after a while, when you look, unless you see them coming with the tray, I can't try. People pick one up and like, oh, I don't like that, and they put it back down again.
Having it,
like they're gross.
It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Just, I mean, tramps. Because you also, like post-pandemic when everything started, like at the UK of all places does not need to get rid of sanitizer because it's a tramp in itself. This country, we don't revel in clean streets. We don't like cleanliness, and this. I shouldn't say we. The establishment and the culture of UKness has nothing to do with black folks. They don't care about cleanliness.
No, we need the sanitizer.
We need. I was so like, don't go. Please don't go. I loved having a sanitizer everywhere.
Have you seen the meme of the woman saying, like, do you wash your hands in your own house after you've gone to the toilet? Suggesting, but why would you wash your hands in your own house after you've gone to the toilet? You only do that outside.
Is your poo splatter different from inside and out? What the hell is your personal?
Literally, like we cannot. I don't like shaking people's hands anyway. But folks and hygiene it's a myth. It's a myth. Remember, they were literally having baths once a week in summer and once a month in winter.
Who was that woman that came out and said that, do kids have to? There was another. It's like I don't think they do it on purpose as well because they know that black people are going to react. And this time she said, so the kids, the kids don't have to go to. She doesn't bath her kids all the time. I can't remember what her version of events, but they just, they're okay. And sometimes I go outside and I'm like, you haven't washed your hair, you haven't bathed.
Oh yeah, you can tell
that musty smell.
That's why I hate going on the trains. I hate that when you're too close and you can literally be like, oh,
like your whole.
And you rolled out of bed and you're going to work.
I've seen that when we were the other day in King's Cross, and I meant to put it in the group. I was walking, and the water fountain in King's Cross, like where we went because I went to that same building. So that water fountain that's in the middle. I saw a guy with his son. He picked up the water, washed his face, and then this is. Oh my god! It's like, what? He literally bent down because I will draw the line at maybe you have something on your hand. You see water, it's a fountain. It's not like, so maybe I still wouldn't do that. But if something was on your hand, but he did, hand in the fountain, washed his face with it, and then did a little bit and drank it. Like the whole, and you're with your son, and your son's playing in it. So kids play in it. I started typing when I was like, I can't even bother to report this. I literally started typing it in the Aunties group, and I thought, I can't even bother. I just keep it for a day when I decide to talk about it.
Oh my god, that's crazy. No, not doing that.
Thank you. That's cute. You do look gorgeous.
Thank you. I was out today. I actually was out in Canary Wharf seeing two people that I worked with 20 years ago. in a call center called Toucan,
Oh,
and it's probably like the best job that I've ever had. I did zero, like we all did nothing while we was there and got paid pretty well for
I
doing
love
nothing in a call center. You can't even get those jobs now anyway. But yeah, they're still friends. Like they're literally still my brethren. It was just lovely. Like one's from Australia, so she's over for a little while, and we got to.
Did you
sit
talk
down.
about the great dancer?
No. Oh my god, I totally
You had
forgot.
one job.
One job. I am gonna see her again though. She's gonna stay a little bit longer, so yes, I should see her again. I definitely will ask about the Australian dancer.
I today I did a junket with a Naomi Aki for her new film Blink Twice. That was fun.
Oh, cool.
Me and Naomi always have a giggle. So that will come out on the British Blacklist soon. Yeah, it's a good film. So yes.
Destiny Love said they don't wash full stop. Sometimes I do wonder.
And the thing is, I mean, we have the stereotype that we bath a lot, but we know some black folks don't bath either. Some people follow the English suit. They don't do it, black people. Let's uphold our stereotype that we bath all the damn time. Some of us don't think it's necessary. But yes.
Let's see.
That's, my friends.
Yes.
End of news and nonsense. We tidied up, we wrapped up.
We covered everything that we have on the. I think we did everything, didn't we? We've gone through everything that we got on the
The
dock.
only thing that we didn't do. No, I think we got through it.
Yes. Look, this is your lot. Oh
No. Okay. Can you just show a funny picture? We want to end on weird news all the time.
I don't actually have it up unless you have it.
No, it's not in the folder. How do I do it?
You just go to the folder and then you share your tab.
Oh, for crying out loud, it's too much. I can't. I can't. Oh no, I can't. It's not letting me. It's too much. Let's have a look. Keep talking. Let me figure it out.
All right, let me just see what everybody's saying. Rochelle is asking, will you wonderful ladies be at the Black Ballad next week? The lineup looks great.
I'm not sure,
What days is it? Is it Saturday, Sunday?
I'm not sure.
I definitely
I'd like to
try. Yeah, I want to try and go to one of the days to see. We are not on the panels for anything. We didn't make the selection of the wonderful black folks that are involved in it. Maybe next year.
So what do I do? How do I share?
So and then you'll go to present.
Okay.
And then it will say share tab.
Share screen.
Yeah, share screen, and then you can just share the tab that it's on.
I don't know. Let's see if it works. Oh, okay. Share.
Yeah.
Can you guys see this?
Okay, you can make it bigger by pressing the plus sign. There you go. So what is that?
Exactly. So, uproar forces Kenyan city to remove athlete statues. Authorities in Eldoret, Kenya, removed 3 statues of athletes after they were widely criticized for being unrecognizable and poorly made. The statues were initially part of a celebration of Eldoret's new city status, but were quickly ridiculed by locals and online users. They were taken down before the official city designation ceremony with no information on whether replacements will be made. They were absolutely criticized. What do you think? Is it a good...
That's shit. Like, who did this? That's obviously someone's brethren. And it's like, oh, no, I know how to, I can do that. Pay me to do it. And who is that supposed to be? It doesn't, is it a man or a woman? Like, what is it? That's ridiculous. Literally, it's what kids do with plasticine. Like, this is out of order. And he's expecting nobody was going to say anything. Like, this would be okay to have around the country. What the hell? Someone got paid for this shit.
Oh shoot! Yeah, guys, this is. I don't know. Any Kenyans want to speak up?
It's been removed from Kenya.
Yeah, absolutely. They were criticized. They're meant to celebrate Eldoret status as the home of champions. Local residents and social medias harshly criticised and they were removed overnight.
Somebody just chopped.
Yeah.
Somebody was just chopping. I mean, it is Kenya that has the problem at this moment, isn't it? With the Prime Minister has literally been chopping money.
Oh.
And then he keeps on doing listen, guys, listen what I've got to do. I've just got to increase inflation more and then we're gonna be back. Stick with me. And he keeps on doing it.
Oh.
I think it's Kenya. I think so. There's some African country and this is what's been going on. But it's flipping wild.
Oh,
Actually,
no.
next week, the nonsense, I will bring that story because it's actually crazy what's been going on.
What did Rochelle say? Everyone's picking up at what Rochelle said.
Rochelle.
It looks like morph. It does. It does. From heartbeat, heart to heart.
Can you go in tighter so we can see the face? If you go in tighter and then you can scroll up.
Hold on, let's see. I can't scroll.
Yeah, you just move it down.
It won't let me do it.
Oh.
I think it's the positioning of it. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
You can't look. Look.
What is that? It looks like a devil. Look, it looks like a Gargamel type thing.
It's horrible. And even the features don't even look like any Kenyan I know.
That's what I'm like. What is that? That's not a human.
And how many fingers has it got? It looks like it's got 16 fingers on the hand. It looks like it's holding a machete, first of all.
That does look like a machete. That looks like
it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fingers.
Is that supposed to be a woman?
I think so, because it's got boobs.
Is that like a bra top?
Yeah.
No. Oh my God. Somebody got paid for that. I could do better.
Is that a neck or what? Yo.
Yes, okay, Debbie. Yeah, I will bring that. Kenyan PM is implementing taxation measures that will cause crazy inflation. And people are protesting. Like, it's so wild what he's trying to do. I was literally like, the world is just gone to shit. I don't even know. But that, I swear he's got something to do with this. It's a part of chopping. Somebody got paid.
And they didn't, last minute, do you know what it was? They got money. They ran off with the bag. Like, shit. We need something before the ceremony. Let's knock something up. And they were like, F you guys. How dare you have this on the world stage representing?
That is
movie.
Wild. Some kid shit. Not even a kid would come up with this. It's terrible.
Oh my God. Look at the elbow. And there's more. Actually, there's more than that. It wasn't just this. I know you guys Google Kenyan athlete statues. There was more than this. There's a bunch of them. Imagine waking up, looking out that window. If you lived in that building behind, and
you got to see that face,
and you see that outside your window, you'll scream. Oh
my God.
It's true. Ezra Sprout said they spent 90% of their focus on the titty. Yo, she looks like she's about to chop chicken for real. Exactly. I think, what is she carrying? A flag?
No, I swear that is a knife. That's not even how you would do a baton when you're doing it. Like, what is that?
Baton? No,
I don't know. Could be a flag. Could be a little flag.
Guys. Anyway, so that was my last bit of news for everybody.
All right. We are done for today.
Good night, sugar pies. That was your news and nonsense. We had a lot more nonsense than news, I think, today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Sunday night. What's everyone doing? Going to work tomorrow. Have a good, wonderful day. If you're not going to work, bless you. If you're going to steal chicken wings, don't.
No stealing from your job. Let's not
steal from your job. They're about to lose their job. They're about to lose their job. And thank you.
We will be back tomorrow. Me and Sade will be doing Labrish at 1 p.m. Monday to Thursday, and we will be discussing Love is Blind UK. We have episode 7. I think we're going to be doing 7 and 8, maybe. so that we're running on time. But yeah.
And then we're going to, I don't know how you guys are going to capture. We're going to the special Love Is Blind finale screening on Tuesday. So Lavish Girls you guys are going to have to kind of capture that moment.
Yes. And then we can show it to you guys what happened when we saw the finale of Love Is Blind before everybody else. I can't believe
we're going to go see it tomorrow. That's going to be fun. And then Mate Farah's back in his house. So we'll be having her on the show. We will have Nels Abbey this week, if he hasn't changed his mind. We'll have Nels Abbey, the author of Think Like a White Man and the Hip Hop MBA. So, and he's also got his very fun event called Blackity.
Uppity? Is it on Uppity, isn't it? Yeah.
And he's got Jeremy Corbyn on this one that I really wish we could go to. But it's
hasn't it gone?
It's gone. Yeah, it's gone. I was going to say, because he's supposed to be on the show. I was like, it's a Wednesday, we couldn't go. So yeah,
it was last Wednesday.
Yeah,
I would love to actually like hear Jeremy Corbyn talking properly, like and answering questions and all of that. I'd love to.
We've been invited on Uppity, so when we get him on, we'll have a moment to try to figure out when we can go on Uppity as well. So yeah, that'll be this week, and we'll be back on Friday. I can't say no, we're not, but we will be because
we're back on Friday. But Sunday we won't have a show because that's Carnival Sunday,
and we might be going to a concert. So we don't know what we're going to be doing, but we're not going to be here.
So Friday we're back with more news and nonsense.
Sade can't go. She said she's watching in order. I Bagsy her ticket. I think you're gonna have to take that with Sade at lunchtime tomorrow.
Just with her tomorrow because she may be so dedicated to the cause. You never know.
I don't know about that. As far as I know, I've got a tick. Yes, sir. I'm coming. Good night, everyone. Love you guys.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Bye.